Hello everyone. Thank you for coming back to my channel to visit with me. And I'm very happy to see you here again today. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Vicki. I'm a senior lady living on a fixed income, and my channel is just a little bit about everything. I'm new to this, so I'm just now learning how to do all this stuff, so please bear with me as I travel down the YouTube journey of making videos. Now today's video is a baking video, and I'm going to show you how to make another one of my favorite casseroles. So come with me now as we go into my kitchen and we will get this video of cooking going. Thanks for stopping in. Hello, we're back in the kitchen, and tonight's recipe is going to be another one of the casseroles that I really enjoy making. Now I also had received this same recipe back in the 70s when my husband and I were stationed in the military. And in my little cookbook, I always write at the top where I found the recipe and the year that I got it. Like if somebody give it to me, I write their name in there. And the date on it says 1971, and it says military flyer. Now, I don't know if maybe that was something I picked up in the commissary when I was buying groceries and it had recipes in it, and I liked it, and so I tried it. Or maybe they mailed them to the people on the base. I don't know. But anyway, it's a pretty good recipe. It's pretty simple. It's called a Hamburg pie. And I titled it green bean casserole. Pretty basic, simple ingredients. It calls for 2 onions chopped up, which I already have right here. I did a lot of stuff ahead of time, so you guys wouldn't have to wait on it. And I think part of the reason, I haven't made this recipe very often, and I think part of the reason that I haven't made it very often is because of the mashed potato parts. It calls for mashed potatoes. Now, back in the 70s, they did have instant potatoes, but you had to have milk along with your water and salt and butter and stuff to cook it. And I didn't keep milk around all the time because it would end up spoiling before I would drink it. But what I have found, these things here are fabulous. This is instant mashed potatoes, which the instant mashed potatoes they had back then, like I said, you had to have the water and the milk and the butter and the salt. Water. That's all you need for these. And they have them in a lot of different flavors. Save-A-Lot has them. Dollar Tree has them. And your main grocery stores have them too. But these things are fabulous. Water is always available to me, not always milk, but I keep these around just when I want mashed potatoes because it makes a small serving, but it's enough for me, and you just need water. So that's what I use tonight. Now you can do it the old-fashioned way. Peel the potatoes, boil the potatoes, mash the potatoes, add the milk, add the butter, salt, pepper. You can do it that way. And that's how I used to do it. When I made the recipe, I would actually have to boil and make the mashed potatoes before I could put the recipe together. So there's that. It calls for hamburger meat, 1.5 pounds of hamburger meat, which, like I told you guys, I bring my hamburger meat home and I section it out in Ziploc bags. This is only 1 pound, and that's what I'm going to use. It'll be plenty for this recipe. Then you have to put in your green beans. 1 can of green beans will work because I measured it. It calls for 3 cups of canned beans. Green beans, you drain the water out, and I've measured it, and 1 can works good. And then it also calls for 3 cups or 1 can of your tomatoes. And you can use rotel tomatoes if you want a little spicier, just plain canned tomatoes. That's what I've got here. These do have some chilies and onions in it. And then, of course, the mashed potatoes, which I've already prepared them. Partly, there's one more ingredient that goes in. I'm going to wait till I get ready to put it together. Okay, so after you get all your ingredients out, the first thing they tell you to do is to cook the onions in a little bit of fat. So hold on just a second. I pressed the wrong button. All right, you're supposed to fry your onions in a tablespoon of fat. And this is bacon and sausage grease that I keep in a little aluminum soda can. So you just put that in your pan, a tablespoon of fat, bacon fat, or you could use regular, I guess you could use vegetable oil or Crisco if you had it. This has a little bit of flavoring to it. That's why I like to use it. And then you dump your onions in. And you're supposed to cook the onions until they're transparent. So I don't know how long that takes to cook these until they're transparent. But I'm going to put you on pause so that you don't have to watch me stand here and stir my onions. So hang loose and I'll be right back with you. Okay, my onions are now transparent enough. And the next thing you do is to put in your hamburger meat. I should have had this. And you cook your hamburger meat until it's brown. And then you add your seasonings, which is your salt and pepper. You like garlic in there, you can add garlic powder. Basically, salt and pepper to start off with. But you can add other things as your taste, like the salt and pepper along with your garlic and your... you can even put onion powder in there if you didn't want to chop up onions. But I like the taste of the onions chopped up. So you just stir this in along with the softened onions until it's brown. So I'm going to pause you again, and I'll bring you back when I get to the next step. Okay, I've got my meat slightly brown. Now, you don't want to cook it completely. You just want to get a little bit of the pink out of it because it's going to go in the oven and cook again. So I've got that done. Turn my burner off. Now let me take you over here and show you the next thing that you'll need to do. I moved too soon. You have to put your green beans and your tomatoes in here first. I took you over back to the sink because there's another thing we got to do over there. I forgot about this step. So you dump them in while it's still on the heat so that you can mix that in along with your meat, your onions and stuff. You get that all mixed up in here. Really pretty, colorful. It kind of reminds me of a shepherd's pie in a way. All right, this time I'm going to really do it. Okay, we're back over to the sink. All right, now the next thing you do after you get the green beans and stuff mixed up in there, you pour this mixture into your greased casserole dish. I use a small one. I'm hoping I shouldn't. I'm probably going to regret it because it's probably going to end up needing to be put in the big cake pan. I hope. Oh, this is heavy. Anyway, you put this all in here. Maybe can get it all in there. And you really, I don't even think you need to grease this thing that much because your tomatoes and the grease from your meat is going to keep that stuff from sticking in the cooking dish. But it says to grease it, so that's what I did. I guess it's going to fit. Put this down in here. Okay. Then the next thing you're going to do has to do with your mashed potatoes. Secret ingredient. You put an egg in there. So you mix, let's get this up here. You add the egg to your mashed potatoes. Your boiled ones that you peeled the skins or your instant mashed ones. It doesn't matter. And I didn't even put any salt and pepper in this because there is salt and pepper in the meat part. And you can use the mashed potatoes. It's got flavors. They've got those little packets like I showed you. They've got them in herb, garlic kind of flavored, ranch, buttery. Lots of different flavors, and you can use that because this is actually just going to go on the top of the casserole. Once the egg gets all mixed in there really good, you drop it on to the thing with little plops. Let me check. Casserole. Mix up your mashed potatoes, seasoning, spoon to form mounds, or spread it across. That's your preference. You can plop it on there like this. That's why I say this reminds me a lot of a shepherd's pie. It could have been that, I guess. But you can plop it on here like this and smooth it like you do when you're icing a cake. Or you can just leave it on here like this. It'll work either way. It still looks good. Try to tap. I know that makes a sound in the microphone for you guys to have to listen to. I'll kind of swirl it around just a little bit. Cover it. All right, there's that. And that's all there is to this part. You can see it through the glass, what it looks like in the bottom. And then that's on top. And then you put it in your oven and you bake it for, bake it 350 for 30 minutes. So I'll be back in a half. Okay, so here we are in the kitchen. And here's the finished product. I'm having trouble getting my phone to go where I want it to. I don't have it on the tripod because I have difficulty getting it on that little tripod. And I want to get a close-up so you could see it. Hope this doesn't turn out too shaky. But I'm having trouble finding it. You can see that it has little brown, the potato mounds turn dark brown as it cooks. And then I'm going to just scoop a little bit out so you can see what it looks like on the inside. But I'm not going to sample it right now. I've already had supper tonight. So this is going to be my dinner later on this week. I will section this out into little Tupperware. And can you see that? I can't tell. But that's what it looks like when it's done. It's basically a vegetable dish with mashed potatoes. It's like if you prepared mashed potatoes and then you had a hamburger and green beans on the side. That's what you're getting, except it's all in one. So that's it. Thank you very much for coming, and come back and see me anytime. Thanks. Bye.